We'll call this meeting of the Freeman School Board to order. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is roll call.
Emily.
Yes.
David. Yep. Marissa.
Yes.
Cody. Yes.
Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. We'll require a motion to approve the amended agenda. Do you want to call?
Yeah, all the changes are highlighted in yellow. We added just a discussion prior to the vote for
Sure.
applicants for the replacement of the board member position. And then added the board member oath of office as well. And then actually I had a typo having Chris's name for the start of the second meeting instead of having Doug's name.
Sure.
And then for number 9, under new business, similar to what we did for the mileage rate, set the meal reimbursement rate at the state rate. So that way if there's any changes, we can just follow what the state approves and leave it at that. Keeps it simpler.
Okay.
And I believe that was it.
All right. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by David. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Carissa. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next on the agenda, conflict of interest disclosures.
At this point in time, I would say any board members that feel that they have any conflicts of interest for any of the items could be discussed for the entire year, or we could look at that for each agenda that they are presented. We've done both ways in the past, whatever the board feels most comfortable with.
Let's do it for each agenda item. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Just makes most sense. That way we won't miss one. All right.
None were submitted.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, public input.
There was none.
Next item on the agenda, consent agenda. We'll require a motion to approve the following: the minutes of the regularly scheduled school board meeting of June 12th, 2024, the minutes of the Corn Belt Cooperative meeting of June 10th, 2024, the resignation of Chantel Van Wy from the position of elementary school title paraprofessional, and we thank her for her service. The contract of Annabelle and Cortez Escobar for the position of elementary EL teacher for the 2024-2025 school year. The conditions of employment of Hannah Thompson for the position of elementary school title program paraprofessional for the 2024-2025 school year. The conditions of employment of Lindsay Tushin for the position of preschool junior kindergarten paraprofessional for the 2024-2025 school year. The conditions of employment of Greg Euchre for the position of high school paraprofessional for the 2024-2025 school year. The conditions of employment of Greg Euchre for the position of head cross country coach for the 2024-2025 school year. Financial report and claims. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Cody. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Carissa. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next on the agenda, unfinished business. The school board will discuss applications received for the replacement school board position. We had one applicant. Congratulations, Doug. We missed you while you were gone. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. If there's no further discussions, we'll require a motion to approve. Doug McCune is the replacement board member for Carissa's remaining 1 year on her 3-year school board term. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Carissa. Oh, it's very quick, Carissa. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, board member oath of office.
Here you go. You want, I don't know if you want to sit and sign it. Here's your office.
Do I need to come sit there now? As soon as Doug signs and is sworn in, then Chris will officially be resigned from the board.
Perfect.
Welcome back.
Anything else for that, Anjali?
Nope.
Nope, that's that. Perfect.
Oh,
Yes,
Well-
the date was the 8th. I said,
oh, I was like, there's no, okay. No.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, next item on the agenda, new business, business manager 2023-2024 budget update.
So we just need to get an approval for a supplemental budget for the 2023-2024 budget. We were over in our general fund by $18,198. which is to be expected because we had that excess money.
that we had.
So we're pretty much over in all our supply budgets, so we're just gonna use, the means of finance would be the excess fund balance. So that's good, we cut down our excess funds. And then we were over in our food service by 31,153. 14 of that, or just shy of 15 of that was because of the oven. And we got a grant for that, so that covers that. And then the commodities was the federal supply food chain assistance. So that's the end of that finance.
Okay.
So just need to approve those overages.
Any questions? There's no further discussion. We'll require a motion to approve the budget supplement for 2023-2024. Do I have a motion? Motion by Cody. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, adjournment of old board. Will require a motion to adjourn the regularly scheduled July 8th, 2024 Board of Education meeting at 7:06 PM. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Cody. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Doug. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, next item on the agenda, we'll call the meeting of the new board.
Can I take this part?
Oh, yes, to order. I'll hand it over to,
So we will call this meeting to order at 7:07. Next on the agenda is a roll call. Emily?
yes.
David?
Still here.
Doug? And Cody? Here. We'll require a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Conflict of interest disclosures, there was none. Public input, there was none. And board member oath of office will require a motion to approve the selected candidate for the position of school board member. Do I have a motion? So moved. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Board member oath of office.
Sit here now?
Yep.
I'll put it over here.
I need to read this or just sign it?
Read and sign if you.
Read it out loud?
Nope.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is board organizations. I would like to seek nominations for board chairperson. Are there any nominees?
I nominate Emily.
Thanks, David.
Any other nominations?
I'll make the motion to cease nominations.
Motion to cease nominations and cast a unanimous ballot. Do I have a motion?
No.
Chris? Second.
No, I don't, I mean, you casting for unanimous?
Unanimous ballot and, well, we'll stick to the agenda. We'll require a motion to cease nominations for board chairperson. Second? Doug?
I'll second that, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll require a motion to approve Emily Anderson as board chairperson for FY 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
David? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Emily will now take over.
Okay, at this point, I'll take nominations for board vice chairperson. And I'll nominate Doug McCune as incumbent vice chairperson. Is there any other nominations from anyone?
I'll make a motion to cease nominations.
Any further discussions? There is no further discussion. I have a motion by Cody to cease nominations for board chairperson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Will require a motion to approve Doug McCune as board vice chairperson for fiscal year 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Cody. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, administrative report, starting with elementary principal report.
All right, mine is a little bit of a finish from the high school. I was not here in June for that report. So just kind of say what was, we kind of finished that out and we're moving forward. So, student celebrations, congratulations to our softball team and our coaches on a season well done. Also to our golf and track athletes and coaches at state. Excellent job on their seasons as well. The class of 2024 chose to donate their remaining class funds to Megan's Impact Scholarship. So several students were able to grab that check last week and drop that off. So a big thank you to the class of 2024 and also to Megan Rolog's family for creating this scholarship in Megan's honor to benefit our graduating seniors. We celebrated our retiring employees and we wish them the best of luck. That was Christy, Pam, Shane, and Jane. I submitted our Perkins checkoff for the year for the high school side. I also submitted our action plan for our targeted school improvement. If you remember that from the beginning of the school year, that targeted school improvement came from the previous year when our Hispanic population attendance was not meeting requirement, and normally that was for the middle school only, and that is not just our English as a second language students, it's anybody that check marks that box to identify. And normally if you have 10 or less, they don't look at it. We had 11 for the year, and so they looked at it. And so we have to just show an action plan of what we plan to do in order to help with that. So if you look at the action plan back there, that's what I submitted, basically doing some professional development on culturally responsive teaching practices. I am looking at focusing a little bit on the ELL part just because I do feel like that is a majority of our students, but that's not the whole reason there. And then monitoring the attendance status, which I do feel like we do, and then establishing those communication channels with parents, making sure that they understand truancy, things like that. So those were our 3 steps, and then we'll continue that. If we can get that number back to where it needs to be, we'll be off target school improvement. If not, then we'll continue. So that's what that looks like. That was approved also through the state, so we can work with that plan. The class of 2023 composite is completed. It's being framed. I actually dropped it off there in May, and I still haven't heard back from them, but one of their machines was down, and so the next time I get to the falls, I'll see if they have it ready to be picked up. 2024 has been submitted to the company. I just have to wait for them to complete it and approve it, so we'll see if we can get that sooner than later. Kelly and I, we sent out letters to our junior kindergarten and preschool parents at the beginning of June with a checklist of items that they would need in order to attend the program, just making sure we had everything, the birth certificate, all the stuff. If they're in preschool, getting the deposit, those types of things. So kind of sent those letters out, and I haven't been back here since then. So tomorrow on my first day back, I'll be looking through there just to kind of get those kids more in place. So if anyone is interested in those 2 programs, they can just email me and I will respond during my summer hour time. I attended the principals conference in Deadwood in June. That was super fantastic. I always enjoy going out to that. So thanks for sending me that direction. I also attended a SPED Advantage Zoom through the Corn Belt. So through the Corn Belt, we'll be using the SPED Advantage database for the upcoming school year. So that's basically just a software program that helps with that IEP process. And then Just an FYI to the public, school photos, we're gonna do something a little bit different this year. We're gonna try it. School photos will be taken at the open house on August 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. That's already been set up with the photographer. More information will come in the back to school packets, but I kind of wanted to just say that. Not to worry if you can't make it on that 19th date. We will have then retake date in October, so then you could essentially get your photos at that time too. But we're gonna try to funnel through and do that before school starts, and I guess we'll see how it works.
Is it going to be the same vendor as last year? Okay.
Yeah. And then summer hours, for me, July 9th, 11th, 15th, and 16th. That's what I've got.
Thanks, Katie. All right, high school principal report.
All right, so what I did create was my first year plan, with the goals that I would like to meet. Number one priority, I feel, is building relationships, so making sure that I have open communication with all stakeholders, as well as I would like to meet with the staff individually, just to understand what their expectations are and what their needs are. Talking about the ISS area, excuse me, so getting a partition ordered, determine what tables, chairs, or desks to use that we already have available to cut costs, as well as include in the student handbook some expectations of ISS. The student lounge, I would like to meet with the student council advisor and students to develop the best area. Student council members grades 9 through 12 will pick out the furniture and vote on which two options are most liked, and then the student council members will bring those options, and we will determine the most popular option that way. Next goal that I have is to look at the data, so I want to analyze the MAP testing and Smarter Balances score from the 23-24 school year, determine where the areas of strengths are, where do we need to focus on for improvement, and then research what are the best options based upon the data. So looking at what are effective strategies, doing curriculum mapping just to make sure all the content standards are going to be met or addressed, and then to ensure that the current curriculum being used is good, or if other curriculum and resources are needed and available. I would like to also attempt to form a PTA. I will include this in my welcome introduction letter to determine the interested parents, as well as begin planning forming committees for fundraising events. And the last goal that I have is to develop PLCs, professional learning communities, by providing the teachers with more collaboration time. And then the focus that we would do as we get more of the collaboration time are the 4 questions that are related to the PLC, philosophy.
Welcome. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, superintendent report.
Reminder to the board, if you would like to attend the joint ASBSD and SASD convention in Sioux Falls, please let me know by Friday. If we sign up after Friday, we no longer get the discounted rate. There is a new board member area, so if there's any newer or brand new board members, if you'd like to attend that, I can send that information out to the board again in my weekly update this week, just to make sure everybody has that information.
I found it to be really helpful in my first year on the board. I thought it was, some of the training is really good. I know, Doug, you've attended some of it as well, and I think David too, yeah.
If it's okay with the board, I would like to meet with Emily to develop superintendent and school board annual goals. This would be a draft copy of these goals for the year, and then just something to be a starting point and bring that back to the board for approval at the August meeting. Any strong feelings, any direction on that one?
I like goals.
So too. Okay. Sounds good.
We have buses that are going through our summer inspections right now, so we've had somebody on site doing all the glasswork inspection, and we had some chips and some cracks over the last year, so I have a few of them that are listed there at the bottom under those bullets, so get those repaired. And then we're also going through the bus inspection at Specialty, so Specialty goes through each of our buses to make sure that we have a strong likelihood of passing the inspection, and then we bring in the official inspector later on in the summer before the school year starts to give us that official stamp of approval that our buses are safe to use. And there's a lot going on right now, but everything else will be included in the facilities and grounds report later on.
Good, thank you. New business. The school board will hold a budget hearing at 7:45 PM. I am going to set an alarm so that I do not lose track of time. Self-accountable. Okay. Next item on the agenda will require a motion to designate the Freeman Courier as the official newspaper for the district, name Core Trust Bank, Merchant State Bank, and First Interstate Bank as depositories, and authorize the business manager to move the district's checking accounts into any of the designated depositories at his or her discretion. Appoint the Freeman Police Chief and the Superintendent as truancy officers for the Freeman School District. Appoint the Activities Director as the Title IX Coordinator. Appoint Rebecca Hofer as the District 504 ADA Coordinator. Readopt the Corn Belt Cooperative Special Education Comprehensive Plan. Appoint the Business Manager as a Health Insurance Privacy Officer. Appoint the Superintendent as the hearing officer for free and reduced meals. Authorize the business manager to invest and borrow district funds when feasible at his or her discretion in safe, insured, and securities to earn a higher rate of interest whenever funds are available for a specified length of time. Appoint the superintendent as director of federal programs. Appoint the business manager as director of all accounts. Hold all board meetings at the junior senior high school the second Monday of each month at 7 p.m. in the high school media center. An official quorum will be set at 3 or more board members in one gathering. Designate Sam Kerr of Lynn, Jackson, Schultz, and LeBrun as the legal counsel. Authorize the use of signature stamps for the business manager, board chairperson, and superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by David. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Cody. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda. Board members will be assigned to the following committees and assignments. Phoenix Advisory Committee. It's been Doug and I in the past. Let's just keep it that way for consistency. I'll assign myself and Doug for the Phoenix Advisory Committee. Policy Review Committee. Cody, are you okay staying on there?
Sure.
Chris? Okay, being on that committee?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Facilities and Grounds Committee. Let's keep that at Doug and Cody as well for consistency, especially given the large number of active projects. Wellness Committee, was that also one that Carissa
Yes.
was on? Chris, do you mind being on that one?
That's fine.
Okay. Continuous School Improvement Committee, I believe that was you, David. Are you okay staying on there? Okay. Corn Belt Cooperative, I'm on there currently. I'll stay on there. Anybody have a burning desire to be my alternate? Otherwise, I think, were you in the past, just as vice chair? I can't remember now.
I think so,
Yeah.
and I can do it again.
Okay, sounds good. Doug can be the alternate. I'm able to make, I don't think I've missed a single one, able to attend, yeah, via Zoom, at least, so. Delegate Assembly, David, are you okay doing that again? And a second signer for district checks. Cody? You okay with that?
As long as I don't ever have to do it.
Okay.
That would be perfect.
You're in town, and I know the rest of them travel quite a bit, so.
We didn't maybe mention that I never leave Hutchinson County.
Right,
It's a
exactly.
detriment to me at this point.
All right, I think I got everybody. All right, next item on the agenda will require a motion to set activity admission prices for the 2024-2025 school year. These are the same as last year's, $6 for adults for double headers and $4 for students for double headers. Any discussion in regards to that dollar amount? Are we good keeping it the same?
I'm fine with it staying how it is.
Okay, then I'll require a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Cody, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Doug, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda will require a motion to set activity ticket prices for the 2024-2025 school year. Currently, adults are $60 and students are free for students attending Freeman Public School. Any questions, concerns, or discussion? If not, I'll take a motion to approve. That's the same price as last year also, yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Cody. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by David. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next on the agenda will require a motion to set board member pay for fiscal year 2025. It's currently at $60 per meeting and are proposing to keep it that dollar amount per meeting. Is there any discussion in regards to that? If not, I'll require a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Cody. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Doug. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next on the agenda will require a motion to set school lunch prices for the 2024-2025 school year. The current and proposed will stay the same. You can see all the prices there. Adults, $4.95, 7 through 12, $3.75, K through 6, $3.40, reduced meals, 40 cents, a la carte or seconds, $1.50, milk, 50 cents, and breakfast at $2.30. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by David. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda will require a motion to set substitute pay for the 2024-2025 school year. Our current rate for 1 to 9 days is $130, 10 to 20 days $135, and 20 plus days $140. We're proposing 104 to increase that essentially by $10 for each of those different sections there per days. Substitutes will also receive a complimentary school lunch on the days they work for the district, and that is something that we also did last year.
And that's been a challenge to get subs, correct?
I think we got some pretty loyal subs. I think Katie probably be able to speak to this. She's one that calls the subs. It's always a challenge,
On the
but
same day, David, that's the problem.
So it's a limited number of subs.
Yeah.
Pretty reliable, but not as many.
My question would be, does this include mileage? Because that was something that we've done in the past.
So I increased, what we did here is increasing the pay per day and getting rid of the mileage. Just because accounting wise, it's a lot to keep track of and no other school district around.
I was just going to say, and the gold standard is not to include mileage.
So
Do you think that'll be a deal breaker, Katie?
I think for some, just because some of them are coming from Yankton or Sioux Falls, right? Like that, I try not to hire them as much because I know how much the mileage costs, but I don't know.
For somebody coming from Yankton, where it's like 35 miles, what would be the mileage for that?
IRS rate? 50 some cents, isn't it?
51.
51,
Right.
for about $16.
So it would be
So they'd lose $6.
So actually, they're losing money by this. Technically, it's not a raise, it's a deduction in pay.
For some of them, yeah.
For some, yep.
Some that drive a distance,
Take the
yeah.
average and then boost the pay to match. So it's, if we say $16, $18, whatever that dollar amount is.
And most of it, so I went through the mileage reimbursement for our subs, and I mean, they're piddly amounts. Most of them are like $4, $5, $10. I mean, none of them were more than 15
Okay.
in the reports that I pulled.
So we want to match that max, 15 instead of 10?
I think so.
So instead of 140, 145?
Yeah, 145.
150 and 155?
And then that way it's a little more comparable for those folks that we rely on.
I know they're the outliers, but at least nobody be really taking a hit.
So 145, 150, and 155. Sounds reasonable to me. Any further discussion? If no further discussion, I'll require a motion to set the substitute pay for the 2024-2025 school year. 1 to 9 days, $145, 10 to 20 days, $150, 20 plus days, $155. No mileage reimbursement, but will receive a complimentary school lunch on the days they work for the district. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Cody. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next on the agenda will require a motion to set meal reimbursement at the state rate for adults and students, which I think that's what we've always gone by as the state rate in the past. Anyway, it's just allowing for that flexibility.
So the state rate is 6 for breakfast, 11 for lunch, 15 for, or I'm sorry, 6 for breakfast, 14 for lunch, 20 for dinner.
Oh, okay.
So right now,
What we
we
were-
are 6, 11, 15.
You see it, like most other districts use the state rate as well? Perfect, okay. Any questions or further discussion? If not, I will require a motion to set meal reimbursement at the state rate for adults and students. Do I have a motion? Motion by Chris, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Doug, all in favor say aye. Same sign. Motion carries. Next on the agenda will require a motion to approve the state mileage reimbursement rate for fiscal year '25, which I think you said was currently at 51 cents a
It
mile.
actually went up this year, effective July 1 of '24. So it's 65 cents per mile, and then if we have a school district vehicle available, which most of the time we do, it would be 29 cents
Okay.
per mile. So obviously, we encourage our employees to take a school vehicle.
Any questions or discussion? If there's no questions or discussion, I'll require a motion to approve the state mileage reimbursement rate for fiscal year '25. Do I have a motion? Motion by David. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda will require a motion to set worker reimbursement for activity events for fiscal year '25. Current and proposed, it is $20 per event. Questions, comments?
None.
No, that's what we did last year as well. Okay. If there's no further discussion, I'll require a motion to set the worker reimbursement for activity events for fiscal year '25 at $20 per event. Do I have a motion? Motion by Cody. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is that Doug or David?
That was me.
Doug. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, the school board will hear a report about the district audit.
In your packet, you have the 3-page document that summarizes the audit, so you can look in the actual audit if you'd like, or you can look at that summary. On the second page, I believe, has some areas to focus on. Some of those areas are things that are addressed every year with us, because with our size of the district and personnel, we just can't, cover some areas like some of the bigger districts can with multiple employees in various positions. You see the list of those. This is a lot of, in talking with Angelie, a lot of these things that were the deficiencies have been caught this year. So we can hopefully look to eliminate some of those listed on there in future years. Anything you'd like to add?
Nothing too major.
Yeah, ultimately said, the auditor said very minor things, and said it was a successful audit.
Yep, I was able to attend as well. It was very positive overall. Nothing much to write home about. All right, next up on the agenda, the school board will hear an update from the Facilities and Grounds Committee.
Quite a list of items. We got a lot going on right now. Got our stadium project, we got a roof assessment. Roof assessment is included in your packet. Stadium project, there's a quote that we received that we have accepted for the packet. The stadium project is what the Facilities and Grounds Committee is titling the mandate approach. It's guaranteed for 1 year, but they have not, there's a reason why they haven't guaranteed any further than that. That this right now, we have some areas that are getting really bad. One in particular that's right on one of the walkways that actually had chipped and a chunk of concrete had fallen down. So really a trip hazard that we need to find an immediate repair to. But we also need to start having conversations about what the long-term plan is for that facility. We have a year hopefully a year to consider that. At least it's guaranteed for a year, but We're probably looking at within the next year or two, we have to find a better solution to what is currently out there. I met with the engineer, and that engineer, there is an option, basically two options. You can, in a couple of years, we can tear down and replace, or we can look at something like a tuck pointing option, because there's areas of the actual structure that are starting to crack and getting very bad. But if we did tuck point it, the structure would last, a significant amount of time. But the what I call the treads, reference the treads, the rise and runs on the steps itself, those are deteriorating rapidly, and that's a solution that we would have to look at. Problem is, back in the day, the press box was built on the top two treads. So if there is any repairs or any replacements that happen with the treads, the press box would have to get tore out. And then replacing those treads, and then, with the tuck pointing, that would, buy us a significant amount of years. Not sure what the cost would be. That's something we're gonna have to evaluate over time. I imagine that's gonna be fairly costly, and we need to, evaluate the pros and cons of that option, or the option of tearing down and replacing with something like an aluminum structure, which is very common, what districts that are putting in new stadiums are going with. Either way, we're looking at probably the significant cost would be replacing the press box, because either scenario, the press box has to go. So that would be one of the more costly factors, but that'll all be stuff for now. Hopefully this gets us through a year or two. We can start planning for what that next step would be in the future. Roof assessment, like I said, there's the inspection report is listed in your packets. Basically, we have $2,650 worth of just tears and punctures and just ongoing maintenance that needs to go into the roof to fix those areas. Had one situation where there was an object that was on the roof that a little concerned about, and would like to ask that our neighbors are being courteous and not shooting things up in the air that can come down and potentially cause damage to our roof. It would be very appreciated. So that's the roof assessment. Grand scheme of things, that's a pretty small dollar amount when it comes to repairs for what we're looking at. In addition to that, though, that only covers a small amount of it. In addition to that, we're going to have to look at, you can see in the pictures and the assessment, that our vertical seams on the gymnasium are starting to crack, and they're thinking that this leaking that's happening along the hallway to the music and ag and CTE, the CTE hallway and the music hallway, is the clock, is the water's permeating through behind and dripping down the wall, and that's what's causing that leakage on top of the trophy cases. So that's something we're going to get a separate quote for. Let's see, and a few other miscellaneous reports, the repairs that are listed in that report. CTE Innovative Grant Project, so very excited about the over $240,000 that we were able to secure with the CTE Innovative Equipment Grant. We have all the equipment is ordered, so that's step is for the shop, especially. I believe for Innovation Kitchen was in the process of ordering up the kitchen equipment. So that's very exciting for the district. That's going to give us very exciting facilities and some for our students to be very proud of. We'll continue to work on that. I've taken on the role of trying to find contractors to work on these projects, and we've had some success there. Found a contractor that is interested in the removal of the carpeting, and potentially would be able to have that done next week, which is very exciting. Big thanks to Melinda Penner that she's coming in tomorrow and is bringing a couple FFA kids, and we got our summer custodial helpers that are gonna, and then I'm gonna help out as well. They're gonna go in and empty out that classroom so we can start getting to work on the remodel of that, and I'm excited to see that project take shape and see it finished hopefully before the start of the school year. We'll see how things go though. Right now it seems as though contractors are able to squeeze things in, so things are looking good. Custodial shed, I'll turn it over to the Facilities and Grounds Committee for that one. Yeah.
Go ahead, Cody. I wasn't at the meeting, so.
We met with the company to go over everything and did a basic layout of what we wanted. Larry had a lot of inputs to make it more ergonomic for his needs. And we came up with a pretty nice plan. And I think they were gonna finish up, after that meeting, they were gonna put the finishing touches on our design and go from there.
Yep, so getting closer to that bidding process, and like Cody said, it's pretty basic, nothing too fancy. I would say the fancy part would be that we got an office and a bathroom and a mezzanine. The fancy part would maybe be the storage mezzanine on top of the offices, but.
Air-conditioned office.
It is an air-conditioned.
That'd be pretty fancy.
When we were looking at the length and width of it, one of the things we considered was being able to pull a bus in there during the winter because it will be heated. So that wouldn't be a storage area, but that could be an area where we could pull them in and de-ice them if we, or if they're getting iced up in the winter months. So that will be nice to have something that's big enough for that capacity. Paint project has been put on hold. As you can see there, we had a quote for $95,030 to strip the paint. What we have for an issue going on right now, and this is step one, we can't paint until we solve this issue, is that unfortunately there was a water base that was applied first and an oil base that was applied over top, and that's what's causing what you see in the cracking. You can see in that corner right there, especially behind the flag, the cracking and the chipping. That needs to be taken care of, and we need to get both sets of that paint down to the block before we can go any further. The company that gave us this quote, it's a natural acidic product that's expensive. It's $15 per square foot, but that is applied, and then there's paper that's applied over top of that, tape around the edge of it so it doesn't get any air, and that prevents it from drying out, so that the acid can eat away at the natural acid can eat away at the paint, and then after 24 hours, that paint is bubbled off the wall. You peel the paper off, all the paint comes with it, do a little bit of scraping, and it's down to basically the block. We did a test run down the one of the high school hallways here, that if you want to go take a peek at it, and it actually is quite amazing how clean it actually comes off the wall. I'm not saying that would be the case everywhere, so this quote was for the first application, so it would be if another application is necessary, that would be an additional $15 per square foot. So
That was for both wings and the classrooms and everything?
not classrooms, that's
Classrooms,
just the hallways. Yep, hallways and entries to each classroom, and the technically four hallways. We got the short one down.
Nothing in here either.
Nothing in the library. So it's very expensive, and I think the company that gave the quote didn't have time this summer. They were booked the whole summer anyways, so nothing was gonna happen this summer, so just kind of pumping the brakes on that one. It doesn't look great, but it's not causing any harm to anything. Maybe a couple chips of paint on the floor here and there, but that's something we need to evaluate a little bit more, maybe see if there's a cheaper option out there. Just look at what all our options are before we're able to move forward with that. And once the school year starts, it gets challenging because we can probably, squeeze in during a winter break the removal of the paint, but you're never gonna remove it and actually paint it during that time frame. Painting can happen pretty quick. They got, from what I learned through this process, they got pretty nice equipment that can knock out a lot of square footage in a hurry. One quote was for potentially 2 days they could have the paint done, so we can maybe look at like a winter break and a spring break type of thing.
Sure.
Or like a Flyer Friday, when students are out early, and try to get something started, a little 3-day weekend, 4-day weekend or something like that. But we'll just kind of cross that bridge when we get there, but for now we're just putting everything on hold for that one.
On the carpet removal, I thought some of the high school had asbestos under the carpet, so is that going to be an issue in that room?
We'll find out if that's there. Unfortunately, our asbestos review, our 3-year review, is something that's supposed to be happening this month, and I was hopeful that we could get him in and I could ask him specifically that question: does that classroom have anything to worry about? But If not, if we don't get a chance to see him on site, then we'll have to bank on the contractors and that would add to the cost, obviously, if there is something like that, because they'd have to take those precautions.
Sure.
Either way, that's something that would, if it's there, that's the right thing to do.
Right, we have to remove it. Yeah. Okay, it's 7:45. Shall we do the budget hearing?
Yeah, all the prelim budgets are in your folder. It was published in the paper last week for the public to come and make comments or questions or concerns if they have any. The only major changes that I made since the last time was the capital outlay, since we knew we were gonna get that grant, plugging those numbers in, and then adding a few other expenses as we go through quotes and whatnot. One expense that was added is in capital outlay, is under plant operation and maintenance for the fixed asset equipment. That would be for a new lift. And Jay can elaborate on that too a little bit more.
Yeah, so we've gotten some quotes for a new lift right now. The issue with the lift is, or the one that we have is very old. It's very bulky. The only place it fits is in the shop area, and that's just not gonna work. We're putting all this money into new equipment for the shop. We need that to operate as a shop, and Keith has shared that that's a valuable space that he needs to have available as a workspace. So the plan would be that the lift, we paid $3,000 with it. For how many years do you suppose we've had that lift, Seth? Any guesses?
Shane got it, yeah, he found it off auction probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay, 3,000 is probably not worth a whole lot, but probably still has the issue would be, we have the new custodial shed and we don't want to store it out there because you drive across the parking lot, picks up dirt, track that into the gym, grinds up our floor. So there would be value in having a lift for outdoors, and if we need to replace any bulbs in our parking lot lights or something like that, and keep that, especially since it's not worth much anyways. There's some functionality issues where sometimes apparently it doesn't operate as our batteries don't last very long or something like that. I've never used it myself, but that's feedback that I've received. But nonetheless, still a strong need for a new lift, something that's smaller, more compact, something that can fit through a single doorway, so we can store it in storage areas right outside of the gymnasium, which is where the bulk of the use for that lift would be.
So then the new lift was quoted at just over $12,000. So I put that in there as an extra expense. Another thing that we kind of talked about during our audit review too, since our capital outlay is so healthy, so right now it's sitting at 3.1. And we're budgeting that we're gonna use $100,000 cash this year, is maybe looking at investing more into a CD at the bank.
Yeah, that is actually one, I forgot to say that during the audit, but that is something that the auditor did bring up, that we're in such a strong cash position that really we should look at, with the interest rates where they're at, actually investing more into CDs so that we can get some return on that, instead of, getting the tiny percentage that we're getting from, a savings account or something like that, being able to actually get more interest. But yeah, he did remark that we're in a remarkably good, strong cash position, and so it might be worthwhile investing.
How much do we have in merchants right now in that CD?
200. And that gained 4,000 in the year, 11 month. So it will auto renew for another 12 months.
The 3 banks that we designated, you want to just get rates? Right now, the best I've seen, last Wednesday was 5.25, but I think anything above 4, if we keep the locals pretty good.
Other than that, not much has changed. I was able to update some salaries in general fund, and in our sped fund, just based off the new hires that we just approved. So updated those salary amounts. But other than that, nothing has changed from the last time. And I think we're getting to the point where I think we can get it approved next month. Food service, I don't have it in the budget yet, but we're potentially looking at, just because we received that grant for the conventional oven, that we still have an excess fund balance in that fund, so we need to spend those funds down. So we're potentially looking at replacing our deep freezer in there. Jake got some quotes on that. I need to do, they have a calculator basically on how much money you can carry over year to year, and I need to get that figured out before we do anything final, but potentially next month we can talk about that more. But that's a potential extra expense in food service, just because we have some excess money.
Larry has shared that there's an alarm system that's connected with our freezer, and it happens 2 or 3 or 4 times a year where he'll get a call that, something's, malfunctioning and we have to have a technician come in and repair it. So it is very old. When the individual from Maxwell came in today, he looked at it and said, "Oh boy, those are ancient." And we got our money was worth out of them, that's for sure. And opened up the freezer, and there's ice that's falling from on the floor, and it's time for us to look at whether it's this year or whether it's next year. In the near future, we need to look at replacing them. So. Be replacement of the refrigerator and the freezer, like for like, same spot, nothing, just new equipment, same space, same size.
And if there isn't enough excess money in the food service fund, it would just go to our capital outlay expense. Because typically, that's where it would come from anyways.
Right.
Yeah. Any questions?
Are we still paying the intern business manager from prior, in between, after Debbie?
Yes, so I still use her as a resource. It's pretty minimal. The last time she'll come next Monday and Tuesday to help me finish with the state annual report, uploading that to the state, because it's a pretty big report to do. So she's gonna come and help me with that, and then after that, it'll be done.
What are we paying her a month?
Like 200. So, that's not in the budget for next year. Yeah.
So is there a line item from last month then from her, that we paid her last month?
I can certainly get that.
I just want to, my question is, when is this available? Because there's stuff that's being approved here that I haven't seen. I just sat down and saw this packet now, and I know the budget's not tonight. But when does this stuff get handed out? This board packet, just when we sit down here and we have to look at it and just quickly try to read through and improve stuff. I like to read stuff over and make sure that I know what I'm approving or not approving.
Yeah.
So, this budget's the first time I've seen this. I know everybody else has seen it, obviously.
Right, and we're not approving anything tonight.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but there's other things that,
You're talking about these documents?
Yeah.
We always get the packet, typically the Thursday before. A link is emailed.
So before it gets approved next month, you'll get it in the packet.
Yeah.
Sent to you.
Several days usually, we usually
get
get
sent to me.
several.
These ones weren't put in, like this isn't part of like anything that's being approved.
Right.
So it didn't get sent, but.
No, we always have ample time to look at it.
So then, like with the budget, like with looking at coaching salaries, was there that much of a bump this year for like head coach basketball going to 8,100 from 4,800?
No, so. Let me look here.
I saw football went down. They lost, last year they made 72.10, which I don't think was the head coaching salary, but, or is that with multiple coaches, certified coaches?
So it's because how they were being coded wasn't necessarily how I'm coding it now. So it looks like an increase, but it's really not. So we have 2 teachers. That 111 code is for teachers, certified staff. We have 2 teachers that are coaching basketball.
Okay.
that are on staff. One would be Freeman, Lance, and
Keegan?
Fegan, no,
So the
junior
80,
high,
so then
Fegan.
the 8150 is a combined salary of the two?
Yes, of two, yeah. Junior high and the head coach. And then we have the assistant, which is the non-certified salary right underneath it, the 114
Okay.
for 3,700. That would be for our assistant basketball. If that makes sense. I think, who was the junior high coach this last year? He must have not been a certified staff. The teacher.
Jim Thorson?
Yeah, so he wasn't a certified staff.
Pat Weir, so.
Yeah, so that's why there's an increase on that line. Because that 111 is designated for teachers. Any other questions?
None for me.
And part of paying Tammy the professional fees, that was being used with the excess fund that we had in our general fund balance.
That we had to use.
That we had to use.
Angela being in a position where she's going on maternity leave soon, I would say if the board has any questions, if they would, anybody would like to come in and we can sit down and go through this line item by line item if necessary. I know that's been something that's been
Done that the
valuable.
past 2 years.
And I,
Yeah.
So we're being out of the office and for the next meeting when this is approved, any
Okay,
questions?
I'll be here.
Oh, you're gonna,
Yeah, I'll be here at the next board meeting if there are any other questions. Unless I'm in the hospital.
I'm still operating to hold the baby. We're done with, and any other comments before we move on from the budget hearing? If not, I think we're all finished with the Facilities and Grounds Committee, right?
correct.
Yeah. So next time on the agenda would be number 14. The school board will hold a discussion about a proposal for a colony staff stipend.
So we talked a little bit about this in the past. So right now we pay mileage for all of our colony staff members, teachers and paras. Looking to potentially change that. So I ran a report of the mileage that we reimbursed this year and it equated to $12,427. And we're looking at potentially getting rid of that and just doing a stipend that would be the same for teachers and paras because we don't want to take away a salary from anyone, those dollar amounts from anyone. So if we would pay our 7 staff members $1,500, that would equate to $10,500. Now, it's a little bit less, but that's because there will be some mileage still. We have a couple staff members that go in between colonies.
Sure, so
and
then they
there
would
might-
still get reimbursed for that.
Yes, so that, by law, we still have to reimburse for those amounts. So kind of have to figure that in as well. And then there might be times that they have to drive into the school during the school day, which we would reimburse for that as well if they.
If there's training or something like that, okay.
Yeah.
And this is not just simpler, it also is less work for them as well, correct?
Yes.
They have to submit forms
Yes.
and things like that.
And such a pain. I've had to do
Yes.
this.
Should be a win-win.
Yes. And nobody would be losing dollar amounts based off of this stipend either.
And most of our staff drive, they're not living here, correct?
No, most of them are living outside of Freeman anyways. And that's the whole thing. We don't pay any other teacher that doesn't necessarily live in Freeman to drive to Freeman. So it's not necessarily fair for those staff members to be getting mileage to their workplace.
Right.
So just making it universal that we don't reimburse mileage for employees to come into work.
Right. Makes sense. Any questions or comments?
And I think this was in the past, right? Because it was a requirement for them to come here,
Yes.
badge in, and then go to work. So even if they didn't.
So it was
live-
extra miles.
Had to show up.
Paras had to clock in.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's
I know
helpful.
they have a time clock out there.
Okay.
Seems super efficient.
Right. That's helpful. If there's no further discussion, we'll require a motion to approve the colony staff stipend amounts. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Cody, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Doug. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda, the school board will review the commercial insurance proposal for fiscal year '25.
So the proposal, I already worked it into the general fund budget for the proposal. So our rates went up a little bit with property. It's on page 8. No. What page is it on? The premium. Like all of them? 14, it's on page 14, the total premiums. So you can see what our expiring premiums are and then the new premiums going into fiscal year '25. So if you look at our general fund budget, it is all updated to these prices to reflect that. But they are going up, which most insurances are.
And yeah, it looks like most of it's property.
And that one is because of the fires, tornadoes in South Dakota. So it's a pretty universal thing that it's going up just to,
What they found is they were underinsured.
Yeah, sure.
They're trying to make up for that and make sure that that doesn't become an issue again for any other districts.
yeah. Any questions on this?
No, I know we've talked about this plan a lot in the past months. Any other comments or discussion? If there's no further discussion, I will require a motion to approve the commercial insurance proposal for fiscal year '25. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by David. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Cody. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda will require a motion to approve the selected candidate for the SDHSAA runoff election ballot.
So you can see the two candidates are listed there on the back side of that sheet as their biographies. This is something we looked at last time, but there was not a high enough percentage for a vote, so they narrowed it down to just two candidates and are doing the runoff selection.
Are either of these ones that we chose?
We chose Mark Nagel last time, is that correct?
I would go for Chris Long.
I like that his bio is brief. Anybody else have any thoughts?
I don't know the other cat. I know Chris Long. I played football with him in college. And so he's a good guy. So
It hasn't changed.
Right, you're recusing or not,
Not voting.
right. Recusing yourself from the vote. I'm fine voting for Chris Long. I don't have any strong feelings against that at all. Anyone else have any thoughts? Okay, going with Chris Long. All right, take that as a positive. If so, I'll require a motion to approve Chris Long as a selected candidate for the oh my gosh, you guys, I've talked too much, SDHSAA runoff election ballot. Do I have a motion?
moved.
Motion by Chris, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Doug. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And again, remember Cody is recusing himself from voting on this item, so it's just a four-person vote. To put this somewhere so I can't lose it. All right, next item on the agenda will require a motion to approve the surplus and sale of one table and chairs.
So I took a picture and included that in the packet. You can see that we have a number of tables stacked up there, so I got some age on them, so this would be one of our local churches, and this church is the Wednesday night youth group, so looking for additional stuff for classroom space. We've sold them in the past, another table like that for $10. So thought the recommended price would be, appropriate price would be $10 again for that. And then the chairs, very comparable to the last ones they bought. Well, they're a different style, but with these chairs, we only have 7 of them. Typically, teachers like to match things up. So they're still in pretty good shape, and I imagine the reason they're not used is because they don't match other stuff. But nonetheless sitting in storage, so the last chairs that we sold were very comparable to that at $30 a piece, so I thought that would be a good recommended price as well.
Any questions, comments, discussion? If there's no further discussion, we'll require a motion to approve the surplus and sale of one table and 7 chairs at the price listed. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Cody. Do I have a second? Second by Chris. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, adjournment. Will require a motion to adjourn the regularly scheduled July 8th, 2024 Board of Education meeting at 8:06 p.m. Do I have a motion? Is that you, David? Yep. Motion by David. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Doug. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next regularly scheduled Freeman School Board meeting is Monday, August 12th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the high school library.
Do you want to sign this one?